following stages are in a loose order and are based on the rule and not the exception. Confusion. You've been tossed into a sea of chaos and calamity. This can come in many ways unique to you and your situation. Things may have taken a turn for the worst. You're feeling a dread that you've never felt before, that rests on your back like a dark cloud. You may hear voices inside your head. Like the grief I'll talk about in a few minutes, you have been holding this fear deep down from this lifetime and other lifetimes. It's like a light streaming through, and anything dark goes scurrying. You can feel impulsive and maybe even explosive. It could have been ignited when your Kundalini energy started to rise. This is the point where you don't know or understand what's happening. It's been building for years, but you didn't understand the signs. Or you could have experienced an extreme trauma that challenged your supposed reality. Fear and anger. The ego is not happy. Things may not be going the way you want. You didn't get the job, or the relationship broke up, or the loan falls through, or an illness is revealed. It's all you can do to manage one thing after another. You're angry that this is happening to you, or you're scared. You might be lucky to know that what's happening is beyond the physical world, but it's so harsh it can feel like a punishment. You ask God, what is this? Why me? Denial and disbelief. This is all too much. A Kundalini Dark Night? What are you talking about? This is a critical juncture, as those around you might think you're losing your mind. You may think so too. One way to tell the difference is if you have an awareness of what is happening. An awareness of the events would indicate a mind that is not lost and is aware that something significant is occurring. Depression. This can present as overwhelm, feeling paralyzed mentally, and numb. You don't want to be doing what you're doing. You never have. Something's got to change. Something's got to give. You need a break, a rest. There's something new calling to you. But nothing is easy, and you could be at the start of a long and twisting road. Discovery. You learn what is happening with you, and you need to know more to understand and receive guidance. You find out that this is not uncommon and that it's happened to many others. You're in a transformational process. You'll take many wrong turns along the way. You'll be misguided, but it's okay. You always get back on the right track. You gain more knowledge, eventually looking within. You come into your own power and belief, but it can take time. Your whole life you've been different. You could never understand why you were not like everyone else, others that were okay to just accept and follow along. You start to wonder what this existence is all about. How did we get here? What does this all mean? You've always had a fire within, but you didn't know why or how to direct it. It can show up in different ways, behavioral, acting out, and addictions, among other things. Your soul has been waking you up, but you haven't received the message until now, when you are catapulted into what will be a new reality, a new perspective, seeing through a different lens, now clear. A period of anger can occur where now you see all the injustices of the world and how it has impacted you personally and most of humanity. How you've been conditioned, programmed, and manipulated, which is why it's called waking up. You try to tell others, but will realize that we are each on our own path and that they will find you when the time is right. Grief. Through this process of clearing, you will be releasing many tears. We sob for hours, maybe days. You may not even know why, because we're clearing from the deep recesses of our soul, where all trauma and memories are held, all unhealed wounds that are from this lifetime and other lifetimes. You may remember or have visions of some of the past, but much of it you won't remember or be shown. Pain that the soul has held on to, as Eckhart Tolle calls it, the pain body. Awareness and revelation. Once you're aware and have accepted the process you're in, you can be a participant in your healing. You can engage in certain practices and give yourself the time you need for all the processing and release. The more we resist and fight it, the harder and longer it can be. After a time, there'll be moments of grace where you will feel great bliss and in love with everyone and everything. It can be quite a surreal feeling. These moments are just that, moments, as the process continues on. As you mature in your spirituality, you will have gratitude, understanding that this process of purification is a spiritual transformation from mere mortal to spirit. We've always been spirit, but didn't fully comprehend or appreciate what it means and who we are. It can all be very jarring at first. It's a cognitive leap, that's for sure. We go through many different phases of understanding before we finally settle in the place of expanded consciousness. We start finding our way to the truth. We face the illusion that once was our reality. Immersion and integration. The day will come when the process brings you to an integration stage. Not all at once, but you begin to integrate your multidimensional self. It can be hard along the way as you're straddling the fence or having a foot in both places. It will all start coming together bit by bit. Depending on your expectations and what you believe should come from the process, this will determine how at peace you'll be. I had certain expectations along the way that I know many others had as well, that were somewhat misleading, and some of it was hearing what we wanted to hear and believing what we wanted to believe. This process is an inside job. We're not special or perfect. We are one with the other. We have reached a point in our soul's journey to evolve. We are shown that we are in a construct. We are spirit having a physical experience. This doesn't, however, diminish this existence, as we, as far as we know, chose to be here at this time. We are each on our own path. It's important not to judge another's path and to understand we are each experiencing what is needed for our soul growth. There's no one way to live this life. It can be simple or grandiose. It can be easy or hard. It can be poor or rich. You'll recognize so much about others and have your opinions, but they're not meant to live as you do, and you're not meant to live as they do. Things like judgment, blame, and giving others too much power over us has left the building. We no longer roll like that. Wherever you are in the process, you'll recognize some or all of this. And there's much that's not mentioned. We come a long way, but we still have our days. But things are managed better, and we move through much quicker. We are connected and one with Source. Our connection to Source is always there. It is eternal. This we must remember through the highs and the lows, knowing that with equilibrium is where we want to sit. We keep a steady heart and give room for Source to work within any situation. We are rediscovering our mastery.